The whole day just passed. Where are they? What is this? Umineko is inconsistent in this one, actually. Wait. Hold on a second. This red happens after the game. I swear she put another seal on like every single window in the Nemesis of Witches. The piece of paper that clearly just clear all the suspicions from Natsuki. Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Umineko Chiru. So yeah, I couldn't wait to record another episode. I want to be a bit over the head and I'm really into the story right now, so I just cannot wait for more uploads going up. So I cannot really like reference to your comments under the previous episode yet, but I wanted to be sure if my thoughts about Erika, like possibly working with Culprit, could be like a thing. So I asked on Discord and they won't tell me. They said like, it's up to you to basically think about Nox rules and everything, like what you gonna do with it, it's your doing. So yeah, I would just try to do that. I love this community, it's so good. So yeah, I guess we'll go to the next episode, but first I want to give a thanks to my channel members because you're supporting me, and yeah, thank you for your big support, and yeah. Let's go to the next episode. I don't want to like make huge intro or anything this time. Let's just go straight forward and let's see. Because now it's new stuff. It's going past the point where we had the tip menu in the beginning. So now I'm really excited. Because now it's a thing that we don't know what will happen. And if Butler will like actually join the battle now. Okay.
重要な話？
重要な話です。最初の事件からをすべて皆さんの前で整理したいと思います。
Okay, let's see.
それなら他の皆さんとなさってください。私はそういうことは警察に任せるべきと思っています。関心がありません。
整理した上で重要なお話があるのです。あなたにも誰にも断る権利はありません。
Okay. Erika used her detective authority to proclaim the start of the assembly. None of the pieces could disobey. That's cheating. Praying that she wouldn't become the topic of conversation, that's not going to happen. You can pray, that's not going to help. Natsuki reluctantly sat on the sofa. She's been urged to. Okay. Why? That's weird. Sean and Cannon closed the door. Since they had just now decided to lock all doors and windows carefully, Cannon locked it as well. The lock, which existed to protect the safety of this room, felt like a lock on the prison cell to Natsuki, one that would hold her there and prevent any escape. Natsuki still hadn't noticed that ever since Erika had left into the corridor to go check the crime scene in Hideyoshi's room, her goal had changed. In short, from Erika's point of view, the sound of that lock was truly... Checkmate. Erika said that suddenly. Berencaster said that suddenly. Okay. Well, Erika will say it's Natsuki, we know that, but we also know that's not true, so... Yeah. Like, now is the time for Lambda to use red and to shatter the Furies.
ここからが一番面白いんじゃない？
Yeah, this is where we started this game actually.
思い切り楽しみましょう。どうかしらね。お手並み拝見と行くわよ。
Okay, let's see.
24時のゲームセットを待たずにもう仕掛けてきたとはな。ベルンカステル教名、気の早い御仁よ。
相当の早仕掛けですな。この段階でもう勝てる算段があるとは。
Yeah, that's pretty confident.
普段なら魔女の存在を主張するだけで勝てるけど、今回は夏日や金蔵や守るものが多いわ。面倒な戦いになりそうね。
面倒な戦い、わらわの黄金の島でこれ以上の好き勝手はさせぬわ。受けてたぞ
Golden Island.
ベルンカステル教フルドエリカ。
Get them with flies. Oh, we're in the Golden Land again. In the Golden Land, the endless rain continues to fall. Butler was nowhere to be seen. It would very soon reach the time when Butler had joined on the 5th game. Yep, and control of his piece will be passed on to him. Okay, so it's not like the game actually ended. He can just like start controlling his piece now. In other words, only now, in its final stages of the game, when Bernkastel had point the culprit, was Butler finally going to be allowed to participate. He had left the Arbor a short while ago for that reason. Now the only ones inside were Virgila, who continued to knit silently, and Beato, who just sat there blankly amidst the smell of the black tea. Not even putting the cap to her lips. Virgila stopped knitting for a moment and looked out across the vast golden rose garden that extended as far as the eye could see.
バトラ君は誰が犯人云々というだけのゲームならもう二度と屈することのない力を身につけたと言えるでしょう。
Yeah.
第4のゲームまでであなたはすべてのメッセージを彼に伝えています。
End of the game. 4th game. Who am I guess.
つまりバトラ君はいつでもすべての真実に気づいても良いということです。
Okay, so Virgila says that it's possible to solve Umineko based on only question arcs. And I guess it's possible. I bet like when the game like first came out to be, like there was like only episode 1, then you had to wait for episode 2 and stuff. People had like a lot of time between the episodes and they just like analyzed everything hours and hours and hours. So definitely somewhat smart enough figured out whole Umineko in like episode 1 probably. There must be a person who figured out Umineko in episode 1. There must be. Like out of like all people, there must be just one person who just figured out Umineko in episode 1. I bet there is.
しかし彼には甘えがある。だからこのままゲームを幾百と続けたとしても永遠に解けはしない。
Huh. He will never solve it. He has weak side.
まるで青い鳥を探すかのように永遠にさまよい続けるだけ。
Bluebird. It's probably some kind of hint. And that, Beatrice, goes for you as well. Even if you play this game 100 more times, you will never arrive at the answer you seek. Bernkastel will abuse this game without doubt. Lambda Delta will also chant this game with the utmost arrogance. At a glance, that may be humiliating and appear to you in Butler as though the game has been stolen from you. However, this is something the two of you need right now, to bring to an end to Butler's weak side. to bring an end to your hesitation.
だからあなたはあの二人を呼んだのです。あなたたちの永遠の拷問を終わらせるため。
The two of them, who do you mean? I guess Dlanor? And who else? Maybe... Anja? No, Anja went here by her own. Huh.
あの二人はあなたに勝利か敗北のいずれかを与えるでしょう。
These two? What do you mean these two? I'm kinda confused? If they won't tell me, then you can let me know in the comments. I'm not entirely sure what they mean.
しかしそれはいずれであっても、もはや慈悲に満ちたものです。
I think she means Dlanor as one of these two people, but who is the second one? Because she didn't invite Lambda Delta or Berncastle, so it's not the case.
あなたにももうそれは分かっているはず。
Virgilla faced Beato, whom she had come to adore like a daughter, with cold eyes that she must not have shown often. It was like the gaze of mother, who instead of scolding, silently urges their child to recognize their mistakes. Okay.
ベアトリーチェ、あなたはいつまでそうして生きるでもなく死ぬでもなく天国に昇るでもなく地獄に落ちるでもなく煉獄山の頂上でぼんやりとしているつもりなの。
Oh! She tried to talk something. She tried to talk. Right.
私はワルギリア、彼を煉獄山に案内し、頂上のあなたのところまで連れてきました。
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just had to like take down the fly. I guided him through the purgatory and brought him to you at its peak. You mean Butler, I guess.
そしてあなたはベアトリーチ、彼の手を取って天国へ昇るか、彼を抱いて地獄へ落ちるか、選ばなくてはならない。
What? Take hand and... Why taking hand would like to rise her to heaven and embrace would fall to hell? What? That's weird. Did you know that the tribulations of purgatory, which lies in the gap between heaven and hell, are sometimes more torturous than even hell itself? At the gates of hell, it is written that you must abandon all hope. A human without hope and accept their suffering and give up. However, the denizens of purgatory have hope. A hope of possibly reaching heaven. A hope that cannot be abandoned. And that tortures them. Even in the depths of hell, no greater torture device exists than the simple pin known as hope.
飛びなさい、煉獄の崖より。淡く脆くてくだらない希望の未練ごとパンドラの箱を開け放ってしまいなさい。怖いでしょう。箱を開けるのは。
Battle's silent, but with a single tear, she nodded slightly. Okay. Virgilia is actually getting to her heart with this.
箱の中の猫は生きているのか、死んでいるの
Yeah.
か。
Open the box and check.
それを確かめる時が来ました。死んでいる猫ならば早く供養して天へ登ってもらいなさい。生きている猫ならば早く餌を与えてすべての愛情を注いであげなさい。生き死にに関係なくあなたの猫箱は猫を永遠に冒涜しています。あなたが開くことを恐れた箱の鍵をあの二人が持ってきてくれましたよ。
What do you mean those two? I think like she's talking... Dlanor and... okay, Dlanor and Butler, I guess. Right? Dlanor and Butler, because I don't think this is about Lambda Delta and Brandcaster. So this is Dlanor and Butler. Probably. Beatrice. The time has come for you to die. I hope that your heart will be stopped by the hand of the person you desire. Yes, she wants Butler. Huh. Okay. Whoa, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is happening? The whole day just passed. What? It's the end of the game. It's actually the last clock. October 5. This is the end. This is when the game ends normally. Where the fuck are we? What's happening? Predator, what is this? Okay, what is happening? What is going on? All of the pieces from the game port were gathered. So we didn't saw outcome after Butter joined the game. We just know that Erika proclaimed Natsuki as the culprit and that's it. Where are they? What is this? That looks like some kind of flower, golden flower. All the pieces on the game board were gathered. All of the humans, furniture, witches, and the witches on an even higher level had gathered in one place. That never happened before. What is this? That place was like a solemn cathedral with an unbelievably high ceiling. White stonework, golden ornaments. Though there were windows, there were no entrances nor exits. It was strange place. But for some reason, no one wondered where this strange place was. Because they were not given the right to think of this place as strange. Once again, MetaWord is trying to mess with my head. I will not give up. I will not give up to the MetaWord and its like mind-breaking possibilities. I'm not going to break. I will solve Umineko, goddammit! Or maybe a bit of it. Outside of the 18 is illusion, that's true. We know that there's 18 people only. True. The three witches were seated on the special thrones set upon a very high balcony. In the center sat the Game Master, Lambda Delta. And on the either side of the semicular balcony sat Brandcaster and Beatrice, facing each other. Below them Erika ran forward, lifted the corners of her skirt and bowed respectfully. What is this? I guess this is like some kind of like image just for the reader, and this is actually Erika talking to... This is like... But this is 24, this is the end of the game, it's not right after the scene we ended. I would like maybe she's like talking to actually people in the room, but... It's like full day just passed.
そして
This is the end.
カステル卿、我が主、ご期待ください。必ずや主を苛む退屈の毒を一時であろうとも忘れさせてご覧に入れます。
Okay, and also Lambda still didn't use any red. She can use the red at the end to debunk every Fury, and then she wins, as we know. She just need red at the very end.
ええ、期待しているわ。それでこそ私の分身、私の駒よ。
Erika and Benkastel exchanged nasty smiles. That would make anyone want to avert their gaze.
お聞きなさい。魔女ども、人間ども、これより魔女集会にて幻想法廷の改定を宣言する。
Court of Illusions. The ruler of the game spoke with words of power. Though her words were spoken inside such a vast space, they rang out with the force of a bell in the bell tower.
お前たちのこのゲームにおける生と役割はおしまい。第5のゲームはこれにて閉じられ、24時を迎えての答え合わせとなるわ。
Okay.
では早速と言いたいところだけど、その前にまずは軽く自己紹介から始めようかしら。これだけ大勢いるんだしね。
Okay.
私はラムダ
Introductions.
絶対の魔女にして新しきゲームの支配者。
Hi, Lambda.
ベルンカステル、奇跡の魔女ベアトリーチェの魔女幻想のカンパを目的とするわ。
Hi, Burn. And hi,
無
Beato.
限の魔女ベアトリーチェである。我が存在の主張と夏日金蔵の保護を目的とする。
Hi, Butler. You have no idea what's happening as well, huh? This looks... I know, I'm like paying too much attention to the background, I know. This actually, this looks like they're like inside of like this is cathedral, right? Like what else we can call a cathedral? The chapel. So maybe like the last meeting is like inside the chapel in the on Rokkenjima?
バトラ様、次なる序列は
You come next in rank. Okay, so they're introducing themselves in the ranks. Okay, so he's pretty high, actually. I guess he's a player, like the main player of the game, so he should be high. That's all, okay.
ご存知と思いますが、貴殿は今回のゲームは途中よりの参加となっております。魔女集会開催のこの時点ではまだ未参加ということです。お分かりでありますか？
You are not participant. Wait, but this started at 24 and he joined partway through. So when it started, he was a participant, right? What do you mean he wasn't participant when this started? He clearly is. You said like he can join in the partway.
分かってるぜ。しばらくは発言権がないってことだろう。
ご理解感謝であります。
Okay. Guess we have to bear with it for now. Even though Butler held rank second only to witches, he sat on the foremost pew with the other relatives all by himself at the one end. He met the gaze of Beato, who was on the balcony.
わらわの宿敵であると一言言えばよいもの。
お前だけの敵とは。
取り返すぞ。これはわらわたちのゲームだ。
ああ。
How do we have like two Beatos? It's still like kind of confusing me. I didn't like really stop between episodes and thought about this, So it's still like kind of like confusing to me why we have like sad Beato and normal Beato. Why the peace Beato is on the balcony here? And the original Game Master, which is our Beato, is still in the Golden Land. It feels weird. I almost said that I was fighting Beato Witch Illusions. Originally Beato was my one and only enemy. But now Rika and those witches who started tampering with Beato's tail are my enemies as well. Who should I fight and how? Maybe it's a good thing. I won't have the right to speak for a while. I'll keep a cool head and calmly watch everything unfold.
魔女集会の開催発起人にして探偵フルドエリカです。この第5のゲームの犯人を暴き、この物語に愉快なピリオドを与えてご覧に入れます。
Bring this tale. Yeah, again. This tale. So, okay, so instead of like calling the episodes bugs full of hints, I can call them tales. So each episode is one tale, which is a bit different, and all of it points towards one original story, because each story have a grain of truth inside, as the old saying says. So drain from each of the roads will create complete story. That's what like my reasoning is now for now. Erika greeted the witches above her and the humans behind her once again.
私も期待してるわ。さあ、残りのコマどもも適当にザラーっと自己紹介なさい。
Okay.
人間ども、全員自己紹介を。
Humans are higher than demons. It's worth to notice. Because like Chester sisters and even Lanor didn't like introduce herself yet. Interesting. Humans are higher in the hierarchy here. I guess it's because they're like the pieces that are like actually physically on the game board, like the 18 people, and everyone else is just the illusion. That's why they're like lower in the rank. Okay, makes sense. Urged by 45 to introduce himself, Kinzo stood up. Yep. Okay.
後ろ宮エヴァよ、生きてるわ。ルドルフだ。この後もずっと後ろ宮だからな。名字ははしょるぜ。
Okay.
後ろ。ローザ第一の番に殺されました。
Okay.
ジェシカ、同じく第一の番に死亡だぜ。
ジョージです。
This is so different and weird.
同じく第一の番に死亡。
But I like it. It gives such a weird vibe.
マリア、死んじゃったけど、私はこうして喋ってる。
Great, good for you, Maria. Happy as always.
ね。死ぬことなんて大した問題じゃないでしょ。
Maria, I missed you. I missed your twisted logic. This is great. Oh my god. This is the favorite laugh of Umineko fandom apparently. Like everyone is using this.
後ろ宮夏日です。
This kihihihihi.
生きております。
秀吉や、ついさっき殺されたばかりや。
キリエよ、まだ生きてるわ。
南條です。私も流れております。
Okay.
源氏と申します。第一の番に死亡でございます。
シャノンです。生存してます。
カノンです。
So they actually stopped the game in the... when we actually stopped. That was like the conclusion of the game. So no one else died besides these people.
同じく生存。
Later.
ゴーダです。よろしくお願いします。皆さん。
熊沢でございます。よろしくお願いします。
続いて、魔女ども。全員自己紹介を。
Why do we have this introduction scene? This is so weird. Oh my god. Whoa, that's fancy. Holy crap. Vargilia group could also be seen. There was a second balcony, different from the one Beato group was on, which jutted out like a raised audience sitting. They sat there, looking down as though they were at the theater.
ワルギリアと申します。ベアトリーチェの師匠です。
ガープよ、死体を消す役担当。
ロの上、紅茶を入れる役担当ですな。
You are the best. You are the best, Renova. You are the best servant. Great. Whoa! The stakes! Holy shit!
煉獄の七姉妹を代表してご挨拶申し上げます。第二の番の秀吉殺人を担当しました。
Okay. Okay, Lucifer.
煉獄の七姉妹、ここに。続けて、エリカ教の家具どもは自己紹介を。ガートルード、異端審問補佐官なり。
Why you are hired, Lanor, and you... This is weird. Okay. If they're actually going through the order from like most important to least important, then this doesn't make sense about Gertrude and Cornelia and Lanor. Like, why would they be higher in the hierarchy? Okay, Umineko is inconsistent in this one, actually. Actually inconsistent. The two of them could also be seen on the second floor balcony. They sat apart from the Vargilia group. Then Lanor, who was seated between the two, slowly stood up. She had a presence and dignity about her, as though she was an overseeing everything from that place. Yeah. Yeah, and that face. I like Lanor, she's so cool.
お互い全力でぶつかるだけだ。
ドラノールの出番は本来なら必要ありません。
That's what I think so.
しかし、魔女側が醜く言い逃れをもてあそぶとき、それを断罪してもらわねばなりません。書斎での奇跡は二度と起こりませんから。
Okay, let's see.
最後にご挨拶申し上げます。本魔女集会の進行管理を命ぜられたシエスタ姉妹この得体であります。よろしくお願いします。
Great introduction for 110.
以上で全ての駒の自己紹介を終了する。一堂に会するが全38
38 people. Okay. The number of characters was 38, if you only took the 5th game into account. But if you added all the pieces who appeared in previous games too, it would probably rise even higher. Would it? Yeah, we have like Angel, Sakutaro. Who else? Like on the game board actually, I'm not like talking about people that we met like in the real world. Sakutaro, Angel. Was there someone else? So 40? Am I forgetting someone? Maybe? Wait, I just realized. 1 second. Where's Wait, hold on a second. I just realized, where's the human introductions? Kraus, Eva, Kinzo, Rudolph, Rosa, Jessica, George, Maria, Natsuhi, Hideyoshi, Kirie, Nanjo, Genji, Shannon, Canon, Okay, that's everyone, sorry. I was excited for a second. I thought like Kumasawa didn't introduce herself. And I thought like this is like something weird, but okay, she did. I just like somehow didn't register that. This mysterious game, which had so often been linked to chess, now had far more pieces than a chessboard. Okay, let's see. So this is the outcome of the episode 5, I guess. To be honest, I don't know how to do a stream about episode 5 yet. I don't know how to start making theories about this yet. There was a lot of information to process. But we'll do this somehow. Actually, maybe right after I end this episode. Like, I can do this at night. I can do like night stream. If this is the end of the episode 5, then maybe I can do like stream after this. Huh. But I will see. Also the goats, yep. Popcorn, okay. Oh, and there's a goat kun as well. Okay. Okay, show me what you got, Erika. Will you win the game? How are you planning to frame actually Natsuki when it's obvious that she didn't do that? I mean, it's obvious for reader, but not for her and not for like anyone who's not like in the meta world and don't know the game board. So I wonder what her reasoning will be. I mean, the reasoning that she will have will be probably 100% accurate or like 99% accurate, because in current situation I would accuse Natsuki as well. Like, that's pretty obvious that she's a culprit in this situation, but yeah, how can you make other claim in this situation? At the sound of her voice, the Chester sisters' troops tried to nap, lifted their right knees and stumbled down hard on the floor with their heels. Okay. It became a low, deep rumble in the ground, which instantly erased all chatter in the cathedral. Okay. And cross-examination begins, Ace Attorney. And turned their eyes and expression even more hollow and empty. The room fell back into silence, almost as though they were a collection of wax models. Someone's walking? Oh, it's Erika. Amidst this heavy silence, there was the sound of footsteps. As Erika walked out into the center, where she could catch everyone's attention. When she signaled with her chin, a goat attendant appeared from behind a pillar and carried a single plain chair out in the front of the center of the room. It must have been the defendant chair, Natsuki. Okay. Like in specific, 5th game. So like I said, like every game can have like different culprit. Yep, that was expected. Erika pointed at Natsuki and spoke. The Natsuki wax doll alone twitched and regained the expression. It was an expression of panic. I like this. This is so different. 45 and 410 pinned Natsuki's arms behind her back and led her to the chair in the center. Natsuki resisted, but the sisters were surprisingly strong and she couldn't do anything. She turned to the relatives for help, but they just remained silent like the wax models.
よりフルデエリカはなぜ後ろ宮夏日にだけ犯行が可能か再構築してご覧に。
Yeah, I know how you will reconstruct this. I know how you will reconstruct this.
ベアト、もちろん受けるでしょ。
当然よ。
Yeah. How will you defend her? I wonder.
後ろ宮家顧問錬金術師黄金のベアトリーチェだ。フルドエリカ受けて立つぞ。我が主に着せようと企むその濡れ衣引き裂いてくれるわ。
ベアトリーチェ。
So Erika is Edgeworth in this game? I guess?
安心せよ夏日。そなたはわらわの主だ。
I wonder if Erika will update the autopsy report.
そして心に片翼のわしを刻んだ真の当主よ。身に覚えなき罪に怯えるでない。
At those words, Natsuhi checked back and gulped. Her panic finally disappeared, and she stood up straight.
そうですとも、私は後宮夏日、後宮家を冒涜するあらゆる挑戦を受けて立ちましょう。
どうしてこの状況にそのような虚勢が張れるやら。あなた本当にどこのかけらでもいじめられっ子ね。
Ooh.
ではベルン、主張どうぞ。ベルンカステルは主張するわ。このゲームの犯人は人間、後宮夏日。
Okay.
ベアトもどうぞ。
ベアトリーチェは主張する。このゲームの犯人は人間にあらず。
Okay. That's specific and pretty much battle-like culprit because she wants a witch to be a culprit. Pretty straightforward.
わらわこそ犯人であるわ。
Berencaster, who smiled daringly, and Beatrice, who smiled firmly, crossed gazes.
お聞きね、魔女ども、人間ども、一つの真実に二つの主張が現れたわ。
Okay.
犯人は人間、後宮夏日か。犯人は魔女、ベアトリーチェか。魔女が勝てば、第5のゲームの真相は闇に消える。エリカが勝てば、ゲーム版より魔女幻想は打ち滅ぼされる。つまり、ベアトにとってのみ、負けることの許されない勝負だけれど、覚悟は大丈夫？
何の覚悟が必要だというのか、もとより望むところよ。
If Erika were to win, the wish illusion would be destroyed. That would mean the existence of the witches would be denied. Beata was fighting for her life. However, this wasn't the only time she had been fighting for her life. It had always been a life or death struggle, even when she fought with Butler. So, this is the... So, this one is the sad Beata that we had? Did she, like, regain her, like... Actually... edge? Because she's saying that she fought with Butler before, so... Okay. Because if Butler had won and broken through the wish illusion in any of the previous games, Beato would have been destroyed.
汚ねえな。エリカのやつだけ負けても何も失わない。
それはどうでしょう。ベルンカステル教には情けの心があります。
Yeah, I should probably just delete her.
彼女は自分の望んだ活躍をしなかった駒に温かい処遇を与えるとは思えません。
It was inconceivable that the ruthless Berencaster would place no blame at all on a piece who had suffered defeat. Erika was probably fighting for her life just the same. The two claims would clash, and one would be weeded out. One would fall, and would not leave this place alive. The only one who truly had nothing to lose were those witches. Okay. Let's begin.
さあ、始めなさい。それでは、私から始めたいと思います。
Okay?
秀吉さん殺しについては、とてもシンプル。
Yeah, like, Natsuki was in the closet, killed him, hid in the closet, and then left the room. Simple as that.
夏日さん以外の方を疑うことは不可能なはずです。私たちは被害者と夏日さんを除いて全員が同じ部屋にいたじゃないですか。
Pretty much. It was really simple. Everyone except Natsuki was in the parlor. And because it was so simple, it was decisive.
どう考えても秀吉を殺したのは夏日じゃないの。
Unless Hideyoshi is not dead. Like I said, we didn't have like proof for that.
いいえ、逆だわ。どう考えても夏日以外に秀吉は殺せないじゃないの。
But is he dead actually?
議論も反論の余地もないわ。
ですから誤解です。確かに私にはアリバイがないかもしれません。しかしアリバイがないことはすなわち犯人であるとの証拠にはならないはず。
夏日にだけアリバイがないのは分かった。だが待て、殺害現場は密室であったぞ。夏日に限らず誰であってもあの部屋での犯行は不可能だったはずだ。
Okay, Beato, you are goofing actually now. Because she could just hide inside this room and then the room was closed. Like, what even is this claim? Okay, Beatrice is losing already. Beato, you losing already?
密室トリックであるハウダニットについては
How do it?
説明します。
Oh, later, okay.
とりあえず今はフーダニットから。
We're starting with who do it, okay.
よって以上により秀吉さん殺しは夏日さん以外の人物を疑うのは不可能となる。
That's valid, I have to agree with Rika here. I mean, from the perspective of detective and of people like who are on the game board.
お嬢様、ここをさらに切り込むと危険かと。
同感だわ。夏日が秀吉の部屋のクローゼットに隠れていたのは事実。復讐要求で所在の確認を行われると追い詰められるわ。であろうな。ゲームの支配者はラムダデルタ教だ。あやつが面白がれば事実に関係なく夏日が犯人ということで確定されてしまうぞ。
If the typhoon were to pass and the police were to come and perform a scientific investigation, perhaps the true culprit would be identified and the false accusations against Natsuki lifted. Yep, probably. However, the police would never arrive at this close to Rokenjima. In other words, the real truth would never be revealed. Inside the cat box that will never be opened, false charges that everyone accepts have exactly the same value as the truth. Yep.
おそらく向こうの狙いはシンプルな秀吉殺しで夏日様が犯人であるとの印象を確定させ、その上で不確定要素の多い第一の番の再構築に入るつもりでした。
Yeah, they want to go like from the end. That makes sense actually.
ゲームマスターに疑われた状態での進行は最悪よ。主導権を握るべきだわ。ラムダデルタ教、ご存知の通り第5のゲームでも多くの殺人が起き、深夜から早朝までの短からぬ時間をまたいでおる。いきなり秀吉の殺人から始まり、時間が行ったり来たりしてしまうようでは混乱してしまうというもの。ここは時系列に従い順番に進めていくのが良いかと思うが、いかがか。
異議提出。
Okay.
犯人を告発する過程において時系列など意味をなさない。
Makes sense. She have a point.
異議提出。フルドエリカは時系列を混乱させることによって印象操作を行っている。
But it doesn't really matter, I think. Like, if we suspect Natsuki in the like second Twilight, we can try and put her into the first Twilight, and if it doesn't work, then we work with someone else from the first Twilight.
ああ、よくわかんないのは私もごめんだわ。メアとの主張を認めるわよ。
Okay.
エリカはいきなり第2の番から始めないで。
That's fine as well.
始めなさい。
I definitely saw Erika click her tongue. Now I understand. This is how the tales of Rokkenjima are created. After being guided by Virgil and meeting Beatrice, now I stand here at this peak from which I can see everything below me, and I finally understand the truth of this world. This is how tales of Rokkenjima are created, so the episodes of Rokkenjima, like each tale. So does it mean that Twilight's not necessarily happens in the order? Very fragile, yeah. Yep. Like multiple blue truths, every truth is valid until you debunk it. Yes, this is really a trial. Both sides put forth their own truths. This here truly is the brown tube trial that Virgila once used as the analogy.
では、ラムダデルタ教のご命令に従い、最初の第一の晩の事件から話を始めます。ご存知の通り、10月4日、初日親族会議の小休止の後、夏日さんは先に休むと一人退席しました。
Yes.
よって、その時刻から翌朝まで完全にアリバイは消失します。
The culprit is Natsuki. This is because Natsuki is the only one without an alibi. Valid.
はて、そうかな。夏日以外にもアリバイの怪しい人物などいくらでもいるはず。
Such as?
それら全員の疑いを晴らさぬ限り、夏日を犯人呼ばわりさせるわけにはいかぬぞ。
I bet she will clear suspicious because she talked with everyone. We just didn't saw this conversation, so this conversation will be like now. The answers of everyone. The culprit can't be definitively said to be Natsuki as long as there are other people without alibis. Yep. Yo! What the fuck? Okay. Natsuki was the only one without alibi between 24 and 1. This is being used as a basis for claiming that she is the culprit. However, that cannot be said for certain as long as the following possibilities exist. It is not possible that Butler in the guest house committed the crime. Is it not possible that Nanjo in the guest house committed the crime? Goda in the guest house, Kumasawa... Okay, basically everyone. Kraus, other people in the mansion besides Natsuki committed the crime. Why do you say, like, in specific, Butler, Nanjo, Goda, Kumasawa, Genji, Kraus? And then other people in the mansion? This is weird to me. It's not possible that George and others were actually just playing dead. Like this, other people in the mansion besides Natsuki committed the crime. This is weird actually, this one. I don't know why they like do that and then just other. What if second floor was reachable without going past Erika and Long? What if crime was committed before 24? What if crime was committed after 3rd? What if crime was committed outside the internal of 24 and 1? What if someone in the mansion committed the crime between 24 and 3? There's so many freaking rules to this. To be honest, I didn't like pay much attention to the dates in the question arcs. I mean, to like hours. I kinda just wanted to like know like in general what happened after what, but I didn't really look at the clocks in general. Maybe I should.
確かに、夏日が怪しいとそこまで言い張るなら、エリカは夏日以外全員のアリバイを示してみせるべきだわ。ねえ、ベル。
ええ、無論よ。エリカはそれを完全に説明しきるわ。
Okay, do that. The conversation, as we will prove, everyone else has a alibi. Okay.
当然です、我が主。では、順にご説明していきたいと思います。源氏殺しは一度忘れ、ゲストハウスの事件のみに絞って進めます。
Yeah, it will be going with order actually, because the guest house happened first.
となればゲストハウスにいた使用人を疑いたいですよね。あの晩は郷田さんと熊沢さんがゲストハウスにおられました。そうですね、お二方。
She turned to face the direction where those two were seated, and just those two wax models came back to life. When they weren't allowed to speak, they probably weren't even granted a soul. In that case, it would have been much better if Natsuki's soul could simply have disappeared as well. Natsuki, who was in the defendant chair, kept her soul the whole time, and was constantly hanging her head, looking nervous. Gouda hurried to his feet and answered Erika's question.
はい、そうです。私はあの晩、一人でゲストハウスの使用人室におりました。
Alone in guest house servant room. Okay. So you claim you were alone. That's also a weak alibi?
私はこの老体ですからね。夜は答えますから、ゲストハウスの控え室に戻って。
Okay.
お先にすぐ休ませてもらいましたとも。
So we have two more possible culprits.
では、郷田と熊沢もアリバイを失うではありませんか。
Yeah, who can confirm them?
一人で控え室で休んでいたと自称する熊沢。一人で使用人室にいたと自称する郷田。そのどちらにもいとこ部屋へ行き、殺人を行う余地があるはずです。
めっそうもない。どうしてそんなことを私たちが。
I don't know, why do it is like total mystery to me.
そうですともそうですとも。人殺しなんてそんなとんでもないことです。
Can't be definitely said to be Natsuki. Kumasawa, I guess I'll commit the crime. Okay, yep.
夏日がすべて語っておるわ。控え室で一人眠った熊沢も、使用人室に一人こもった郷田も、寝室の夏日と何も変わらない。どちらもアリバイを失うではないか。
ご安心を。この二人は殺人犯ではないと、
Okay.
私が保証します。
How?
まず熊沢さんは晩餐後、私たちと一緒に屋敷を出てゲストハウスへ行き、
Okay.
そのまま控え室に入り、朝まで眠っていました。
How can you be sure that she slept until morning?
郷田さんも同じです。
How can you be sure? I'm not buying this actually. Unless you was watching them sleeping.
事務作業を終え、その後に私たちとラウンジで談笑して、それを終えてから休みました。
Just like pretend to go sleep.
両名とも殺人を行う余地はありません。
I'm not buying this actually.
いよいよ来たな。それではわらわも腰を上げるとしよう。もはやそなたの出番は終わりだ、エリカ。そなたの頼れる用心棒を呼び出すがいい。
Bato glanced toward Lanor, sat on the second floor balcony. However, Lanor just stared back with those usual expressionless eyes.
復唱要求。
Okay.
郷田と熊沢のアリバイについて完全な証拠がある。
That's what I was saying. Like, unless Erika was watching them and can confirm that, then yeah. So that's valid repetition request.
復唱拒否。
Decline. Okay.
なんで敵にヒントを？答えるわけもない。
お聞きから無駄デルタ卿。証拠はないそうだぞ。証拠もなく、郷田と熊沢のアリバイを主張しても良いものなのか。
道理だわ。どうなのよ、ベルン、エリカ。どうして郷田と熊沢のアリバイを主張できるわけ？
引っ込めエリカ。わらわの相手はそこのドラノールよ。貴様ごとき人間に魔女の相手は務まらぬわ。
Wow.
いいえ、ドラノールの出番は必要ありません。あなたの言う人間ごときが魔女を打ち破るからこそ魔女幻想が否定されるのです。
Okay.
ならばどうぞ、赤で青でお好きなように受けて立ちますよ。
What will happen? What she would say? In response to Erika's challenge, Beato smiled boldly, yet gracefully, and slowly stood up. And they glared at each other between the floor and the balcony. Valid. Valid. Yep. Now bring red. Battle Blue Truth struck out rapidly. The curtain had finally dropped and the battle had begun. This is like episode 4. Like they're just going to shoot each other with like blue and red. Are you sure, Gap? Like, I'm pretty sure Erika used the freaking red on the game board. She's like embodiment of like cheating.
エリカに使えずともその主のベルンカステル教は使えます。
Yeah, and that Erika uses it anyway.
油断はできませんぞ。
青き真実有効だわ。どうするのベルン。あんたかドラノールが相手を変わる。まだ私の出番ではありません。そしてベルンカステル教の出番でもあります。
Okay.
そうよ。この程度じゃ私たちの出番にはならないわ。フルドエリカというただの人間風情がベアトを打ち破ってこそ意味があるのよ。
Okay, well all she have to say is just like, I watched them whole time.
人間に打ち破られてこそわかるが、黄金のベアトリーチェなどとのたまう偽りの魔女が人間以下の幻に過ぎなかったとね。
Okay, so they're referencing to that this Beatrice is not the real Beatrice, the one that we know, that's like the sad Beatrice basically now.
それが本当にできるなら最高に面白いんだけどね。いいわエリカ、受けて立ちなさい。まず熊沢さんですが、とてもシンプルな話です。
Okay.
熊沢さん、ご起立を。
はい。
熊沢さんは昨夜就寝されてから朝事件を知らされるまで一度でも控室を出ましたか？
What will this prove anyway?
いいえ。
She can just claim like whatever.
朝までぐっすりでしたとも。
Okay, you have a proof?
私、昨夜の晩餐の後にエヴァさんと談笑していて面白い話を聞かせてもらっていたんです。
Okay.
それを試させてもらいました。
それとは何か。まさか。
I know. Oh my god, she actually used the trick that Eva's using in like games. She used the paper, the receipt. That was probably the one that I remembered, right? The one that was like glued and it said that Erika and Castle.
そうです。金蔵を書斎に追い詰め封じたもの。扉に物を挟むことで封印できることを私は知ったのです。
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
なんだと。
So for Kumasawa, she sealed the door basically. That's why she's sure. But couldn't she leave through the door? Through the window? Is there a window in the guest room? I mean, in the servant room? Maybe there is. She could leave through the window.
あいつ、まさかそれを熊沢さんの控室に。
エリカはゲストハウスにいたのですから、それができたとしても
Yeah.
何も問題はありません。
But was there a window? I don't know if there's a window in the servant's room.
何しろ莫大な黄金が発見されてどんな事件が起こってもおかしくない不気味な夜でした。探偵あるところ事件あり。私は何かの事件が起こることを予見してあらかじめアリバイを失いそうな人物にこれで封印をさせていただいたのです。
Okay, that's weird of way of thinking, Erika. Like, where's the detective, the crime will come. I guess this is the like whole point of mystery. True. But like in specific, like, you know, by character standpoints, like Erika just came to the island and she's like, oh, now I'm here, now I'm here, so something awful will happen. Great, it's almost as she planned that. Erika held a small, folded piece of brown paper high in the air.
私はこれを一緒にゲストハウスに戻った熊沢さんが休むと言って控室に入ったのを見届け、これを使って扉を封印したのです。そして朝、事件が発覚し大騒ぎになった時、私は真っ先に熊沢さんの控室を確認し、そして封印が健在であることを確認しました。
Kumasawa was innocent for the first while, unless there's window.
以上により、私は熊沢さんのアリバイを証明できます。
There's a lie by, okay. Unless there's a window. I will still keep calling that. Probably there's no window. Okay, one. This is going to be long as fuck. It's 1 hour like recording already.
Good.
I'm not sure if I want to record this in... Okay, I will record this in one session. I will just like, probably like cut it somehow, or I will just like make 2-hour episode because it feels like it's the last episode, or like the end of the episode 5. Depends if there's a window, Bencastle.
エリカと共にゲストハウスに戻り、そのまま控室に入って休み、朝まで部屋を出ることはなかった。
I still find it funny how suddenly, like in the question arcs, we want like the reader wanted to be on human side, basically, and like beat witch illusion, just prove that human is the culprit and everything. And episode 5 is basically, nope, we are like against humans and against witches at the same time, so what's your goal at this point? Okay. The guest house, she never went to the second floor. First of all, it says second floor, so it never said that she never left the room, so I still claim there can be a window. And she could like just leave it, like leave room. It's not like, don't know why she would leave room in this case if she cannot go to the second floor, but she could do that, I guess. The proof Erika has shown was elevated by Bencastle and became the red roof. This roof, which had become red, could no longer be overturned, even by battle. In other words, in that instant, Kumasawa's perfect alibi had been absolutely guaranteed.
郷田さんもゲストハウス到着後はすぐに使用人室にこもられました。
Yeah.
そして同様にこれで封印させていただきました。そしてローザさんが午前1時にお戻りになった時は、たまたま廊下に出た私が気づき、使用人室の郷田さんにそれを伝えたのです。その時、封印は健在でしたので、ゲストハウスに到着してから午前1時まで。
Wait, what? I happened to notice her when I stepped out into the corridor. I let Goda-san know this. Know what? You mean no? You let him know that the door is sealed? Or what? I'm not sure what she mean.
郷田さんは使用人室を出ていません。そしてその後はラウンジで午前3時まで私と一緒にいました。そして午前3時以降は私は2階にいましたので。
Again, what if there was a window?
郷田さんが2階に上がってこないことを保証できます。
エリカの封印がゴーダが午前1時まで使用人室にこもっていたことを証明するわ。そして午前3時までのアリバイを一緒にラウンジで過ごしたエリカが証明するわ。そして それ以降の朝までに2階へ一切立ち入ってないことも。
I don't know if I'm able to do that specify and complex thinking about the mystery. Like, I don't think like having Umineko as the first mystery case like ever read helping much, you know? It's like difficult.
エリカが証明するわ。つまりゴーダはゲストハウスへ戻って以降、朝まで2階に上がって。
Okay, yeah, again, second floor. Could leave room. Okay, what would you say? That's going to be so long episode. Such a long episode, oh my god.
赤き真実有効だわ。お見事よエリ。あんたのその扉の封印によるアリバイがベルンに認められて赤き真実に昇華されたわ。
Maybe I will probably cut this and like make 2 episodes out of this.
ありがとうございます我が主。我こそは探偵。人間でありながら赤き真実を行使することのできる人間を超えし者。
Invoker through the spite for humanity, huh?
人間を超えただと。この思い上がりめ、口走るには1000年早いわ。
おかしな追求があると面倒なので先にはっきりさせます。というかむしろこれは最初にするべきでした。
Okay.
前後したことをお詫びします。24時の時点でのゲストハウスの状況です。
Okay.
黄金が発見され緊急の親族会議になりバトラさんと親族たちは屋敷へ。
Gold found. Magic family conference called. Butler had gone to the mansion with relatives. Yeah.
ゲストハウスには私といとこ3人、南條先生、郷田さん、熊沢さんが残りました。
Okay.
郷田さん、熊沢さんのアリバイについてはすでにご説明の通り、ジョージさん、ジェシカさん、マリアさんの3人はいとこ部屋でトランプで遊んでいました。
Okay.
実は私ほんの少しだけ混ぜていただきましたので、この時刻に生存していたのをはっきり
At that
確認
time,
して、
okay.
我が主以上の復唱を要求します。
応じるわ。
Okay.
ゲストハウスには24時の時点でジョージ、ジェシカ、マリアは生存していて、
At 24, so after 24 they could die.
2階のいとこ部屋にいた。
Okay.
南條、郷田、熊沢は1階にいた。
Okay.
あともうもったいぶることないからこれまでに出ている犠牲者の死亡も確定させとくわね。ジョージ、ジェシカ、マリア、ローザ、現時の5人はちゃんと死んでるわよ。
Okay, but this is the same case as with the red web. I will call this as the same thing as the red web, because this red happens after the game. So it's possible that they were alive somewhere in the game and they're like actually dead, but at the end of the game, now when this red is said, they're actually dead. But some of them could be alive at the time.
あのばっくりいった首で死んだふりなんてできるわけないでしょ。
And this is not in red, so I'm even more suspicious. No murder record before 24, okay. We guarantee that George Group is dead. Yeah, but now. They could be alive, some of them. I'm not buying this one though. I'm not buying this one. This one, yeah, sure, but this one? I'm not really buying this. I would say red is too specific for that. It's the same as with with the red web of truth in the episode 3. Like, the only possible way for red web to work would be that culprit dies after killing Nanjo. And that way the red web is valid. Kind of. I mean, I didn't like solve the red web, but it's the solution that I came up with. It worked for that episode.
これをはっきりさせないと、私がアリバイを保証した以前の段階ですでに殺されていたとか。実は死んでなかったとか。
Maybe they mean actually dead when they... I don't know. For me, red is very specific. Like, I'm kinda paranoid about red. Unsurprisingly, Beato's side couldn't get away with the simple plan of claiming that the victims weren't playing dead. But in order to overcome Gold and Kuma's alibis, it should have been possible to suppose that the crime occurred before those doors were sealed. However, the opponent had predicted this move perfectly. It had now been shown in red that the crime did not occur before the time period covered by Erika's alibis.
そうそう。犠牲者の確認されてる最後の生存時刻。それを最初に言ってほしかったわね。
Confirmed to be alive, exactly. So we don't know when after 24 they died, basically. We don't know when they died after 24. Even the sliced throats don't like prove anything in this case. They just said like they're dead after 24. You don't claim in red that they died between 24 and 30 AM.
さらに言うと、24時の時点で屋敷の2階廊下には夏日とクラウス、源氏がいたわ。残りは全員親族会議の食堂よ。
Okay.
もちろんこの時点ではまだ殺人は起こってない。源氏も健在よ。
Okay, yeah, makes sense. 24 those said to be inside the mansion was indeed inside the mansion. Addendum has already shown that none of them left the mansion before first, excluding Natsuhi.
それはエリカが観測したことじゃないけれど、それが確定してないとゲームが進まないものね。いいわ。その赤き真実を認めるわ。赤き真実、ありがとうございます、我が主。
Since Erika had been in the guest house, it was only natural that she could explain the situation there. However, since she hadn't been in the mansion at the time, explaining the situation over there would have been extremely difficult for her. Beato would normally have tagged her with the blue truth, saying that the people in the dining hall had all agreed to keep the same story. And that someone might have snuck out the dining hall and committed the murder in the guest house. However, because Bern had instantly settled that matter with the red truth, Beato had completely lost her chance to strike back. Yeah, it is troublesome.
これほどまでに不利とは。
これじゃまるでかつてのリーチェとバトラの戦いが逆になったみたいね。
Yeah.
いや、その時よりもさらに状況は悪いかと。
At a glance, the fight between the two of them resembled our previous fights. However, there were some vital differences. The first was whenever or not Beato was the game master. The Beato fought against me was the game master. Sorry, I need to like take a quick drink of some water because I'm dying of thirst, and we'll have like another victim of this game. Ah, that's good. So she knew all the truth. That's why she was able to use the red truth at will. However, the current Beato isn't a game master. She's just a single piece on the game board, yep. That's why I was confused. Like the piece Beato and the game master Beato. The sad Beato, as I call her. In other words, even Beato doesn't know the truth. Okay, so this piece Beato is like in very big disadvantage. I expected her to actually know how the game board works, but apparently not. Guess that makes sense because she's a piece. So I could say that Beato now is in the same position I once was. Yeah, I can see that. Also, although Erika might seem to be in the same position I once was, the situation for her is totally different. She's connected to the witch called Burning Castle. Even though she isn't a game master, she's capable of elevating Erika's statements to become the red truth. Because of this, Erika can use the red truth even though she's neither a witch nor a game master. That's cheating, I call this cheating. Beato, who is supposed to be a witch, possesses no truth or red she can use. And yet, Detective Erika can use the red truth. The advantage is completely flipped over to the other side. You could probably say that the current Beato is in much worse position than I was when I fought her. After I got used to the game, Beato stopped responding to my repetition requests. But in the beginning, she responded to almost all of them, giving me quite a few hints. That's why we were able to fight on pair. However, Burning Castle is different. She fully understands the rules of this game and is prepared to corner Beato without even a hint of restraint. And all this made me realize Beato was going easy on me. So what we could fight on pair with each other. Yeah. We know that Beato went easy on him. Like, we had that like hinted many times over already. And said actually by others.
なるほど。わらわはかつてのバトラの立場で戦っているというわけか。
ベアト。
かつてのそなたを無能と蔑んだわらわだ。
Yeah, and it was in red actually.
この程度、まだまだ答えぬぞ。ゴーダと熊沢を疑うことはもう不可能だわ。これ以上論点にしても勝てない。
God damn it, Goda. Ah, I swear it's Goda. No, you cannot take Goda away from me.
だな。別のアプローチに切り替える。
Okay.
順当に行くなら次は南條でしょう。
Yep, just as my thoughts, like Nanjo, Shannon, and Goda. Goda is out of equation, so I would say like, yeah, Nanjo is like second possibility, but there's also Shannon. Like, from the alibi standpoint and like what he's doing, then Nanjo is like second target. But from like suspicious standpoint, I would say it's Shannon.
彼もまたゲストハウスにいた人物です。
南條は確かラウンジでエリカと一緒だったわ。しかしその前後の時間帯が空白になるはず。
そうだな、そこをつく。南條、そなたは確かエリカとゴーダと一緒にゲストハウス1階のラウンジでくつろいでいたのだったな。
Nanjo goes to commit a crime. See?
はい、私はエリカさんとずっとご一緒でした。
ラウンジで過ごした時間は
午前1時から午前
1
3
to
時までで
3.
す。
So he could kill between 24 and 1, I guess, right?
え、そうです。午前1時から午前3時までの間、私と南條先生、合田さんの3人はラウンジでくつろいでいました。
So yeah, we have 1 hour of like window.
我が主、
Oh my god, again?
応じるわ。午前1時から午前3時までエリカ、南條、ゴーダの3人はゲストハウス1階のラウンジで過ごした。
That's fine, we still have 24 to 1. Though she had flat out refused battle repetition request, she responded to Erika immediately. The red truth was starting to corner Beato. Beato grimaced, as though in pain, but she still struck back with the blue truth. No, she really was in pain. As the alibis were steadily established for everyone other than Natsuhi, the witch illusion was also being denied. Beato perceived the denial of her existence as pain.
ならば、ラウンジで過ごした時間帯の前後はアリバイがないはず。
Yeah.
南條にも犯行は可能であるぞ。
そうね、南條がラウンジでエリカと一緒に1時から3時までいたことは分かったけど、
Yep.
それ以前とそれ以後はどうなのかしらね。どうエリカ？はい。
Let's see.
まず午前1時以前のアリバイ、これは全く問題ありません。私が24時までいとこ部屋でトランプで一緒に遊んでおり、
Okay, yeah, you said that before.
それからラウンジに降りて、そこで南條先生とお会いしたからです。
Okay. First, I played until midnight downstairs. Okay.
そうでしたな。
What does it prove?
24時に降りてきたエリカさんとお会いして少しお話をしていましたら、かなりのミステリー通だと分かりまして、すっかり意気投合してしまい。
私、碑文の謎解きで書庫に入った時、海外の名作ミステリーの原書が多数保管されているのを見ていました。ですので、それらを手に取りながらぜひ議論がしたくなりまして、私たちは書庫に移り、ずっとおしゃべりをしていました。
Okay, so you say you were actually with Nanjo this whole time. Okay. Okay, that proves his alibi actually, for before. The archive is in the guest house, had enough books in it that you might even call it a small library. In it even several famous foreign mystery novels that Kinzo had once taken liking to. Of course, they were all original and in English, but English was not a problem for both Erika and Nanjo. On the occasion, Erika had again borrowed the key to the archive from Goda in the servant room. She added that she had rechecked the seal at that point, and of course, reset it. Damn her. Even though she keeps it sealed for anyone else to enter or leave, she alone enters and leaves whenever she wants. Yeah.
なるほど。つまり24時から就寝する午前3時までの間、ずっと南條と一緒だったわけね。なら南條のアリバイは一番盤石ということになるわ。
Yeah, because he was actually with Erika.
はい、そういうことになります。我が主、復唱要求です。
応じるわ。24時以降、エリカは午前3時までずっと南條と一緒にいたわ。
Okay. What after? At midnight, the crime in the cousin's room had occurred. So this established an alibi for the period between before the time he spent in the long.
その後、私たちは午前1時に書庫から廊下へ出ます。すると偶然、お戻りになられたローザさんと鉢合わせになりました。
Okay.
そして私がゴーダさんにそれを教えました。客人を出迎えるのは使用人の役目だろうと思いまして。
From where Rosa was, I mean, maybe it took to be Rosa? Then? They met Rosa. Gotta ask if he should bring a towel, but Rosa refused. She quickly headed up to the second floor. At this point, Erika, Goda and Nanjo gathered together and decided to have a drink. Their alibis into long until 3 AM have already been proclaimed in red, so there's no problem there. Actually, yeah, because Rosa was killed as well. I mean, not necessarily killed, like I said, like they could die later. It depends how they treat the Red Truth. It really depends on that. Everything depends on how they treat the Red Truth. If they treat the Red Truth like I do, like very specifically, then the death confirmations came after the game. So anyone who died after the 24th could die at any point up from the 24th to the 24th of the next day, basically. Maybe Rosa is not dead actually. Maybe she murdered everyone, put Maria to sleep, so Maria is not dead as well, because Maria looked like she was poisoned, right? Exactly like in the episode 4, if I'm correct. I don't remember now. Can I check the Tiffany? Oh, she was sliced as well. Okay, never mind. Ah. Okay.
お開きになった後の南條先生のアリバイです。午前3時にバトラさんがお戻りになり、ラウンジは解散。私と南條先生、バトラさんの3人は2階へ上がりました。そして南條先生はお休みに。その際、もちろん先生のお部屋の扉にも。
God damn it, the seals. Seems like Eva was the best, like Eva had the best brain in this whole like story until Erika came out. Like she used the papers in the door frames before it was cool.
あとは事件発覚まで同じです。私はバトラさんの悲鳴と同時に部屋を飛び出し、南條先生の部屋の扉に封印がされていることを確認しました。
Okay.
よって南條先生のアリバイは午前1時
What about windows?
午前3時以降
They're still missing windows. Like seriously, even if it's like second floor, like someone could just put the ladder outside of like Nanjo room, so he can use freaking window and just go down. They're missing the point of windows. I'm annoyed by that. Someone bring this up. I swear, Butler, you must bring this up when it will be your turn to talk. Okay. And Butler couldn't, like, it's like in red actually, so whatever.
素晴らしい。あなたの封印も赤き真実も完璧よ。南條は午前3時までエリカと一緒にいたというアリバイがある。そして午前3時から朝まで自室を出ていない。
Okay, this one is more specific. Didn't leave his room, so he couldn't leave even through the window. But the other two, like Kumasawa and Goda, I don't know. I don't remember if there's window in there. It doesn't say that they didn't leave the room at all. So Goda and Kumasawa could leave the room still. Nanjo cannot, actually. Using the seals she had placed on the doors, Erika was guaranteed the red truths from Bering Castle one after another. When I gave Beato a repetition request, it was about maneuvering and tactics. But it's totally different for Erika. For her, it's like having a trump card, which can make red whenever she wants.
これでゲストハウスの容疑者全員のアリバイ証明を終えました。問題はありませんね。
問題はあるぞ。
Okay.
それはだな。その
Beto racked her brain to find some point to latch onto, but Erika Red had been ruthlessly perfect. There was no point she could take issue with. Beto kept thinking hard, trying to fault Erika on something, but that her expression was so wroth with desperation that anyone could tell by looking.
ベアトを却下するわ。私は何も問題を感じない。
Yeah.
極めてポップでキュートでパーフェクトだわ。これでゲストハウスの人間全員のアリバイは証明された。
待ちな、エリカ。
Butler, it's not your time to speak, I think, yet. They will shush you. Probably.
俺を抜く気か。後ろ宮バトラーにだって反抗のチャンスはあるはずだ。何しろ犠牲者たちと同じ部屋で一夜を共にしたんだぞ。
That is true. He have a very good point. He can like claim himself as the culprit. Why not? We know there's a red that's claiming that Butler couldn't be a culprit, but still.
その俺を差し置いて議論を先になんか進ませねえ。
Okay, Chester's attacking. Like I said, it's not his way. His like turn to speak, I guess, so they shushed him. At that moment, the arrow twisted like a golden snake and hit me. It didn't pierce through me, but it slapped me hard on the cheek while like a whip. Yep, like you're out of the game yet.
はあ、分かっておるぞバトラー。そしてすまぬ。許せ。エリカ。
Yeah.
まだバトラーのアリバイを示していないぞ。バトラーは犠牲者たちと枕を並べて眠った男。誰よりも一番に疑わなければならぬのではないのか。
Let's see what Erika have to say about this. I like how this is going. I didn't expect it to have like actual trial in the episode 5. This is so different and I really like it. I like how they present the case and now they have like defendant and like the proofs, evidences and everything. I love it.
ダメじゃないよね、バトラーを飛ばしちゃ。これは失礼しました。すっかり失念しております。
It's like showing like complete way of making a theory for Umineko. You know? It's like how to look on the case. Basically. It's like a training session for reader, I guess. Like episode 5 is actually explaining to the reader like how you should approach this.
そなたは午前3時に帰ってきたバトラと共に2階へ上がる。そしてそなたも自室に戻って眠ったはずだ。24時にいとこ部屋を訪れたかもしれぬが、午前3時以降には訪れておらぬはず。まさかその後、バトラのベッドに潜り込みに行ったとでも言うのか？一晩中バトラの寝顔を見て、いとこ部屋でのアリバイを確認していたとまで言うなら、認めてやってもいいがな。
ええ、一晩中寝息を聞いていましたが、何か？
She really did that. She really... Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me? No one can prove this. This is valid. This is actually freaking valid. No one can prove this to her. If Butler was asleep, he wouldn't know that Erika is in the room. Wow. Okay. Holy shit.
私、フルドエリカはバトラさんが午前3時に。
But wouldn't that mean that you saw the culprit or something?
すぐにそのままベッドに潜り込み、すぐに就寝してしまったことを証明できます。そして起床され、部屋の惨状に気づき、悲鳴を上げるまで、部屋で何も起こらなかったことまで。
How can you prove that? Because you said before that you heard Butler screaming and you went out of your room, checked Nanjo seal, and then went to the room with Butler and the victims. And now you're saying you were in the room with him. So you saw a culprit and you're lying in one of the like previous statements.
ですのでご安心を。バトラさんは犯人ではありません。
How can you prove?
殺人現場にそうとは知らずに入り、朝まで寝てしまった
There's a hole in this. There's a hole in this one.
バカな。お得意の封印でもそれを証明することは不可能なはず。どうしてそれがそなたに証明できるというのか。
Actually, she shouldn't be able to see the culprit through because, like, victim, like, cousins died already when Butler came to the room.
ふざけるな。あの時、俺は自分だけ部屋に入ったんだぞ。エリカだって自分の部屋へ戻ったはずだ。どうしてそんなさも見ていたかのように断言できるんだ。
見たとは言っていません。エリカさんに割り当てられた部屋はどこですか？
エリカ、教えてちょうだい。どうしてあなたはバトラのことがそこまで証明できるの？
Okay, give me more.
さすがよ。それでこそ探偵だわ。
私の部屋はいとこ部屋の隣です。
Okay.
薄い壁が1枚あるだけです。
So you just could hear him sleeping, like snoring or something?
まさか。
Really? You're going that way?
そなたは壁に耳をつけ、いとこ部屋の様子を伺っていたというのか。
はい。私の耳は完璧です。バトラさんが入室後、直ちに私は部屋の壁に耳をつけ、何か異常が起こらないか監視していました。あんた、バトラが悲鳴を上げる朝まで何も起こらなかったと証明できると言ったわね。
So nothing happened until Butler let out a scream the next morning.
まさかあんた。はい。朝まで一睡もせずに壁に耳をつけ監視をしておりました。
That's a bold claim. What the fuck? I guess she could do that potentially, but oh my god. Are we? Oh my god, in Umineko you really must like stretch things out to the like crazy dimensions. Who normally would do that? What the fuck? Everyone was stunned into silence. She put her ear against the wall, and for the entire time until morning, she listened to what was going on in the butler room. Just what would that have looked like? Until dawn, she had silenced her breathing in the pitch-black room, clinging to the wall, shared with the cousin's room, like some kind of creepy venomous spider clinging to the wall of the darkened room. Oh my god. Bercaster was alone, was grinning in triumph.
ゲームの進行上から当主の指輪を受け継いだバトラがキーマンになるのは読めていた。私はてっきりバトラが第一の番の犠牲者だと思ってたわよ。
はい。ですから我が主の追いつけ通り、朝まで一睡もせずに壁に耳をつけ、異常が起こらないか監視をしておりました。
エリカの記憶力は写真並み。
Okay.
そして聴力は録音機並み。
Pair with a tape recorder, okay.
エリカの耳をごまかしてジョージたちを殺し、首に傷を刻むなど不可能なことよ。
That's messed up. This is cheating, like totally cheating. Oh my god. Half is down. And it's 2-hour episode, 2 hours of recording. God damn it.
探偵権限で認められた能力ね。認めざるを得ない。赤で認定するわ。後ろ宮バトラは午前3時にいとこ部屋に戻り、そのまま就寝した。
Okay.
そして事件発覚まで部屋では一切不審なことはなかった。
So the murder must have happened like before 30 a.m. basically, because nothing out of ordinary happened in the room.
つまりバトラには殺人も死体を傷つけることも不可能だったということ。
The red from the two of them forced Beth to show an expression of considerable anguish. It was unnatural. The red truth they had spoken not only guaranteed Butler's alibi, but a number of other things as well. First off, it meant the murder was impossible for anyone after 3 a.m. And since the cousins were confirmed to be alive as late as midnight, the time period of the crime automatically became between midnight and 3 o'clock. That also automatically provided a guaranteed alibi for everyone who wasn't in the guest house before 30 a.m. I'm getting tired. Like, physically tired. I'm recording too long. And they throwing at me like more intellectual stuff. My brain starts hurting.
エリカは24時以降はずっとゲストハウスにいます。つまり屋敷にいた人物のアリバイを証明することが難しいはずだった。
ヘワたちの動向についてのアリバイ証明は困難を極めたはず。それが逆に簡単に彼らが24時から午前3時までの間。
Yeah. That's a way of thinking that I didn't thought like before. Like, to prove that something didn't happen doesn't necessarily mean proving that someone from the... Like, you just need to like establish what was the situation inside the room for the time period. You don't have to have like strictly a alibi for everyone in the in mansion and stuff. I didn't thought that way. It's like important lesson.
ゲストハウスに訪れなかったことを証明するだけで。
とにかく午前3時以前で殺人が可能だと構築するしか。
How will you construct it? Like, they literally stated that it's impossible, like they were all alive before 24.
そしてそれを屋敷の誰かで実行可能だと証明しなくてはならぬ。
Okay, how? The people who were in the guest house had all alibis. The crime didn't occur before midnight. The crime couldn't have occurred after 3 o'clock. In other words, there was no way for the murder to happen unless someone from the mansion committed the crime between midnight and 3 o'clock. Okay. In order to prove Natsuki, she had to establish that it was possible for someone other than Natsuki to commit the crime. Ironically, the witch had to prove that a human could have committed the crime. Yeah.
しかし、そいつはエリカは午前3時までラウンジにいた。
Oh, Butler is going to get smacked again.
そして2階へはそこを通らずには至れない。つまり事実上ゲストハウス2階の管理人のような状態になってるわけだ。
Good point.
月並みですが、エリカに知られずに2階へ上がることができれば、犯行は誰にでも可能だと証明できるでしょう。
You can still use Windows.
人間、その気になりゃ2階の窓までよじ登ることもできるかもしれねえぞ。
Thank you, Butler. Also, they have ladders. Yeah. Of course, Butler had also thought of striking back that way. And Bergaster must have thought this as well. God damn it. What kind of threat are you going to throw?
南條、郷田、熊沢。ゲストハウスのすべての人物に犯行が不可能であることは分かった。しかし、屋敷の人間はどうか。
すでにお話ししておりますし、我が主が赤き真実でも宣言済みです。私はゲストハウス1階のラウンジにいました。そして2階へ至るにはラウンジを
Not necessary, you have windows, Erika, you have windows.
つまり私の目に触れずに2階へ至ることは不可能だということです。
And we all know that windows are your wake point. As in the study.
それが不可能ではなかったら、例えばゲストハウスの外壁にはしごを立てかけ2階の窓より侵入したとか。
Valid?
ラウンジを通らずに2階へ至る方法は存在するはず。これならばそなたの目に触れずに犯行現場へ至ることは可能だ。
But a funny struck back. Before now, she had let Erika take total control and attack her with the red over and over. During that time, Bato counterattacks with the blue truth have been few in number, even including this one. God damn it. What kind? I swear she put another seal on like every single window in the mansion. I swear!
私のラウンジでの見張りが無意味であったことにされてはたまりませんから。そこでまずは私の見張りが完璧であったことを証明しなくてはなりません。まずゲストハウスの構造上、ラウンジにいた私の目に触れることなく2階へ至ることは不可能です。
How it's not possible?
視覚も遮蔽物も一切なく、どのような物理的心理的視覚も存在しません。我が主、復唱を要求します。
How it's not impossible?
ゲストハウス2階へはラウンジにいた人物に知られずに至ることは不可能。
I don't get this, Red. How? How?
もちろんこれは内部から2階へ至る話だけれど。
Thank you. I was like paranoid for a second.
グッドです、我が主。
Yeah, we still have windows, so...
さて次はベアトリーチェ教のご公設の外部から至る方法です。これには正直困りました。登れそうな木もありますし、はしごを使う手もあるでしょう。雨どいをよじ登って2階に至ることも不可能とは言い切れません。しかしこれをさせるわけにはいきません。
ほう、させぬと。
Okay, how?
ではどうしたというのか。まさか夜通しゲストハウスの周りをぐるぐる回って根津番をしたとでも言うのか。いや、それはできないよな。そなたはラウンジにいたのだから。ラウンジの窓から見える外は外周の一部に過ぎない。
そうです。私は外壁を2階まで登るあらゆる方法を完全に防ぐことはできません。しかし2階へ侵入することを防ぐことはできました。
The fucking seals on the windows. I swear she will say that.
侵入を
Or she will lock the windows.
すでに読めている手です。恐ろしい。ここまでして。
It is frightening. Thank you, Ronova. Like, I don't know how to defeat Erika anymore.
ゲストハウスはその構造上、外部から2階へ侵入するには窓を使うほかありません。正常？どうでもいいことです。
Okay.
ただ窓が、鎧戸が一度も開かれなかったことを保証すればいいだけの話だったんです。
I swear, the piece of paper is the most dangerous weapon in Umineko. I didn't expect that.
私は黄金の隠し場所に立ち会い、そのラウンジを通過せずにゲストハウス2階へ至ることのできるすべての方法を断絶する工作を開始しました。同じことです。これまでと何も変わらず。
あんた、まさかゲストハウスのすべての窓に
Oh my god.
お得意の封印をしたって言い出すの？
The fucking piece of paper, the nemesis of everything. The nemesis of witches. The piece of paper.
一応漂着時の水着持ってますので。
That is true.
イカれてやがるぜ。
She is, and her like furies are pretty valid.
客人として迎えられた家で
By the way, why are we still fighting against Erika? Like, I lost my goal in Umineko, I guess. Like, it's funny to me, kinda, because all the time we wanted to win on the human side. Deny witches, destroy illusion, kill Beato. And now we basically don't want humans to win. What is going on?
そんなことをして回るってのか。普通の人間なら絶対にありえない不審な行為です。ですが、彼女は魔女の駒ですから。
Great. In the middle of the train, Erika sealed all the windows from the outside to create an alibi, showing that no one could have snuck into the guest house from the outside. She climbed up the walls herself and did that to all the windows on the first and second floor. Okay, this is stretching things out. Like, she don't have to do this from the outside, okay? She just had to put these seals from the inside. It doesn't matter from which side. So I'll just ignore that for now. No, to all things which could possibly have permitted entry. After hearing that she'd listened to the cousin's room all night long without stripping a wink, even this bizarre behavior didn't seem quite impossible. So that had probably also looked like a venomous spider. A repulsive venomous spider crawling quickly over the outer walls of the guest house in the middle of storm.
あなたという人は我が後ろ宮家を何だと心得ておられるのですか。客人として迎えた恩も忘れ。
探偵にとって後ろ宮家は事件の舞台以上にも以下にもなりません。
Yeah, pretty much.
私にとって事件発生前に重要なことは登場人物の名前を覚えることと
Someone bribed
事件
her
構造を覚えること
with chopsticks.
来たる事件に備え各種アリバイの取得準備および工作に専念することです。事件発生前に何の準備もしない探偵は私から見れば三流かと。投留先で人が死ぬと私たちは知っているのだから。
Yeah. How do you know though? This is weird.
そしてエリカは事件発覚と同時に全ての封印が破られていないことを確認したわ。エリカが死体発見時に一番にいとこ部屋に到着しなかった理由はそういう死体なんて見分しなくても赤き真実でいくらでも確定が取れる。
Okay.
それより重要なのはアリバイ構築のための封印の確認だった。
我が主は完璧です。私は主に命じられたままに全てを完璧に証明しただけです。
見事よ、エリカ。私の分身、私の駒。
Ben Castle is happy.
どうラムダ。これでラウンジでのエリカの見張りはアリバイ構築上絶対の信頼性を持つ。
Oh my god, this is getting complicated. How can you like find a hole in this? Literally piece of paper is like the biggest problem. Not many left. I need to take a bit of break, so I will just save whatever I have recorded, and I will be right back in a second. For you, it will be like just a cut. So yeah, that's okay. So see you a second. Okay, and I'm back. It is. It's so perfect that it's ridiculous.
ゲストハウス2階へはラウンジを通過しない限り至ることはできず。
This creates problems.
ラウンジにいたエリカに知られずに至ることは不可能。
ありがとうございます、ラムダデルタ卿。
以上により次のことが確定したわけです。大ベアトリーチェ卿、以上により犯行時刻は生存確認をした24時からラウンジで団らんが始まった午前1時までの1時間の間に限定される。
Uh-huh. How do we deal with this?
すでにお話ししていますが、私は24時にラウンジにおり、そこで南條先生と意気投合し、午前1時まで書庫でミステリー談義にふけっておりました。お恥ずかしながらすっかり熱中してしまっていたため、その間廊下を誰かが通り抜けても私は気づけませんでした。
Wow, Erika, you are very generous about this, you know? You are so generous about this, actually. Didn't expect you to give us like any window of opportunity.
探偵にあるまじき痛恨のミスです。
But I guess you prepared for that as well, huh? Somehow. After doing all that maneuvering and setting up seals to guarantee a perfect alibi, she became too engrossed in the mystery discussion and left an opening? Her relaxed smile was completely shameless, the total opposite of words. It almost seems like it's the other way around. It's enough to make you think it's an intentional trap. Set in full awareness that only Natsuki doesn't have an alibi for the following night.
つまり逆説的に申し上げるとこういうことです。
Okay, what you gonna say?
いとこ部屋に至って犯行を行えるのは24時から午前1時までの間にアリバイを失う人物だけということです。
Ah, her eyes clearly hinted that Natsuki was the only one who fit that description. Okay. There's still few possibilities. It had been a crime that occurred at a completely unknown point during that long night, but because of the alibis Erika constructed, that time period had been compressed and restricted to the single hour following midnight. Erika left the cousin's room at midnight. This is the last time we get confirmation that George and the others were alive. And after the party in the long started at 1 AM, it was impossible to reach the cousin's room by any method.
人間のくせに。
まずいですな。一夜が1時間にまで封じられ、残す容疑者の駒も。
Yeah, that's like, how many of them? Like 3 excluding Natsuki?
ベルンカステル教名。やるではないか。
私、バトラと違ってバカじゃないの。
And you can use red, that's cheating. Butler couldn't use red.
こんなゲーム、5度も繰り返せば手の内は十分だわ。
You literally know what happened in the game board. So you cannot even compare yourself to Butler. Because you're like totally on different level of like game understanding. You just looked at the internet for like solutions.
それでは改めまして、残りの容疑者、屋敷の人物のアリバイを検証してまいりましょう。何しろ24時から午前1時までのたった1時間の話。もはや難しいことではありません。まず24時の時点、
Okay.
この時点で2階廊下に夏日、クラウス、源氏がおり、それ以外の全員が1階食堂におりました。
Okay.
これはすでに我が主によって赤き真実で示されています。
そうよ。24時の時点で屋敷の2階廊下には夏日とクラウス、源氏がい
What after?
残りは全員1階の食堂。
I mean, I guess they couldn't like enter the guest house anyway, passing Erika.
そしてご存知の通り、謎のノックがあって、片翼の紋章の手紙が現れた。
Yeah, we never like get to actually know what happened there.
そしてそれをめぐって、午前1時まで延々と議論が続いたわ。
That was a weird one.
私がそれを赤き真実で語るわ。食堂の全員は午前1時まで誰一人食堂を退出していない。
In dining hall. Okay. This is going bad. The time that the crime was possible had been limited to between midnight and 1 o'clock, and it had been guaranteed that the adults in the family conference did not leave the mansion between midnight and 1 o'clock. This gave them all proven alibis.
それをどうやって証明するのか。
Probably with the red truth.
エリカはゲストハウス。誰かが食堂の扉にお得意の封印でもして証明したというのか。納得のいく証拠も証明もないぞ。
赤き真実はただ真実であり、証拠も証明も議論の余地も必要ない。
Even Beato stated that back in the day. That the truth is just a truth and it doesn't require any proof. She said that to Butler. Now it's striking her back.
あんたが作ったルールよ。
Yeah, thank you, Bern. This overbearing red truth had only given alibis to the adults in the dining hall. It also gave alibis to Shannon and Cannon, who had come to serve a tea. That's true because they were inside. And even guaranteed that they never left the dining hall. In other words, the only ones who didn't have proven alibis were 3 people, Natsuhi, Kraus and Genji. No, there were only 2 left. The alibis were proven for Kraus and Genji. It would prove that no one but Natsuhi could have been the culprit. If alibis. Yeah, sorry.
では次に源氏についてです。
Okay, what about
彼は
Genji?
犠牲者ですが、いとこ部屋での犯行に及んだ後、自らも殺された可能性も否定できません。
True?
そして何より24時に2階廊下にいましたが、その後夏日の電話の取り次ぎのため使用人室に戻り孤立します。
Yes. It's still valid. He could.
ということは、源氏にも犯行は可能なはず。
赤で語る
Oh,
わ。
for fuck's sake. Bern, what the hell? Is this the episode where we have like the most amount of like red truths in one episode? I think like the amount of red truths we have like in episode 5 in just this sequence is more than we had like in episode 3. Or in episode 4. I think episode 3 had more. I think like this is more.
源氏は電話の取り次ぎを終えた後、そのまままっすぐ控え室に戻っている。
Okay.
証拠も証明も封印もアリバイもなく、ただ冷酷に真実をね。
But you just say that he returned to the servant quarters. You don't say that he left quarters after this, because he could like go to the servant room, to the servant quarters, pick up like some weapon, like knife or gun or whatever, some kind of weapon or keys or whatever. He just went to servant quarters for something and then he left. That's possibility, right?
そして午前1時。
I wonder if Butler will like point some of this stuff out that I'm saying.
親族会議は再び小休止となり、
Because there must be a time when Butler will like actually get an like chance to speak.
この時、本当に協力に感謝します。後宮エヴァさん。ご起立を。
Okay.
エリカちゃんだけじゃないのよ。私もきっと今夜何かが起こると思っていたわ。
彼女こそは私に封印を教えてくれた方。
Yeah, pretty much.
そして私と共に疑わしい人物のアリバイを確かめるために協力してくださいました。
私は午前1時の小休止の時、源氏さんの控え室に行き、エリカちゃんと同じ
Oh my
封印をしたの。
god, the fucking paper.
つまりこれが破られていなかったなら、午前1時から翌朝までこの部屋は誰も出入りできなかったことになる。
Ah. What about Windows? You're still blabbling about these fucking like seals, but what about Windows? If Genji was inside this room, that would mean like they had to enter the room and seal the window as well. Like they waited until he went to sleep, entered the room, sealed the window and sealed the door. That's the only possibility if that's happened. Like, I'm not buying this. Like, just sealing a door means nothing in case of Genji. Sure, he went to the servant quarters, they sealed the room, and he just left through the window. Like, why not? Or I'm like actually missing something, and like, did Erika like actually sealed every single window in the fucking mansion? Is that what's happening? I might like just got like lost somewhere in this like paper pyramid of confetti. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Canon rose expressionlessly, and Komusawa got to her feet timidly.
起きてくるのが遅い源氏さんを起こしに行きましたね。そしてその時、扉に封印がされているのに気づき、それを破いて扉を開きましたね。
Yeah, that's the one that I probably remember. I don't remember which door that was, but yeah, that was the one that I like recognized.
はい、何かのいたずらだろうと思いました。
あの時はそんなことは深く気にしませんでした。
感想は聞いてません。事実だけを述べるように封印を破って入室したのですね。
はい。
Okay.
赤き真実でエヴァとカノンと熊沢の今の証言が真実であることを保証するわ。エヴァは午前1時に源氏の控え室に封印をし、それは朝の事件発覚時にカノンと熊沢に破られた。
I swear, she had to like put the seal over like every single window in the mansion. If that's the case, I don't think she did that. She did that only for the guest house, right? For the second floor, right? Because she wanted to be sure that no one can enter. So he could still use the window. Oh my god, what are you going to say?
午前1時の小休止で最初に食堂を出たのはローザとエヴァよ。
First two, so there were more who left.
エヴァが戻るまで食堂の人間は全員その場にとどまっていた。
Okay. How long it's been until Eva returned?
エヴァはローザを見送った後、控え室へ行き封印を行った。
Okay.
無論、その際に室内には一切立ち入っていないわ。
これらはすべて 関係者からの事情聴取で分かったことです。根拠なき赤き真実ではありません。証言から構築された正当な推理による真実です。証言だけでなく指紋の採取、各種科学捜査、可能な限りを尽くしました。
Really? You went that far? Oh my god, what the hell? We have like fingerprints now in the Umineko?
何しろ金蔵さんの書斎はあらゆる薬物の宝庫。
God damn it.
赤き真実に限りなく近い究極の真実である各種の調査結果を得ています。はあ、サイエンスミステリーではないのでその詳細は割愛しますが。
As Erika swaggered around the cathedral, she arrogantly touted her scientific knowledge. She had thoughtful knowledge of all chemicals in Kinzo's study and had used them to conduct a scientific investigation. Just like in Ace Attorney. There was one girl like that in like second game, I think. Which had now been acknowledged and made into the Red Truth by Bernkastel. Without going into too much detail, the results she had obtained would have been convincing even without the Red Truth. Fingerprint collection with aluminium powder, composition analysis of the mud under people's shoes, various chemical reactions from clinging rainwater. Erika had walked in and out of the study that didn't belong to her several times, using all manner of chemicals however she pleased without asking the family permission. Guess that's the detective authority, huh? However, no one could fault her for this. The pieces couldn't hinder any action the detective might take for investigation. That was the power of the detective authority. At least she's cheating.
次より探偵を名乗る者は決して客人として迎えぬよう出会う者たちに忠告しよう。
それがよろしいかと思います。探偵に雨宿りを許すなんて吹きつきあまりないことなんですから。
Okay. I should remember that as well.
以上から現時の控え室へ至り犯行を行うのが可能なのもまた24時から午前1時までであることが証明されたわ。
I mean, he could use window. Unless it was like actually sealed. I don't like... I don't want to like really check, like go back. I don't know where it was. It's too far behind. I will just like keep reading, I guess, for now. But unless, basically unless Erika sealed every single freaking window in the house, and or at least the rooms where like servants weren't stuff, then like Genji could still get out of the room.
そしてさらにエリカの調査によって現時にもいとこ部屋へ至るのが不可能であることが証明されたわ。
It had already been made clear in Red Truth that after transferring the phone call to Natsuhi, Genji had gone straight back to the servant quarters. Now, based on the results of Erika's scientific investigation, they added a further Red Truth. Genji never left the mansion after 24. Okay, so that okay, so he didn't left actually. How do you defeat Erika? Why do I want to defeat Erika? This made it clear beyond doubt that Genji couldn't have reached the guest house, much less the cousin's room. Genji has an alibi. Now we have Kraus. Kraus is missing. Yeah, like what? What about Kraus? What are you gonna claim for Kraus though?
残るのはクラウスと夏日だけだわ。それ以外の全員のアリバイが証明されちゃったじゃない。
Yeah, both options are like terrible for Natsuhi. Natsuki mouth flapped open and chest out like a goldfish starved of oxygen. And that was an accurate analogy. Natsuki's mind was blank and spinning out of control. And she felt as though she really would suffocate.
後宮夏日、最後にチャンスをあげるわ。すべての犯行はあなたの夫の仕業だと自ら告白なさい。
はあ。
バカな。私が本当に濡れ衣を着せるような女に見えますか？
I mean, it's possibility, right? Because he's missing. He's the person that's missing, so he doesn't have alibi as well. And Natsuki was just speaking through the phone. She heard him through the phone. Maybe he was like playing her for some reason. I mean, based on like their interaction, I don't think that would happen. But by like investigation perspective, like it could be Kraus.
ベアト、夏日は拒否したわ。そしてあなたにも同じチャンスを分かっているでしょ。それともまさかクラウスが行方不明であるのをいいことに悪魔の証明でごまかしきれるつもりじゃないわよね。
We cannot use Devil's Brew because of the Nox rules, actually. Is it not possible that Kraus is in the mansion? Beato realized that they were rapidly approaching to the end of this battle. Normally, these alibis of Erika would still have many places that Beato could argue against, using the blue truth. However, all of those alibis had been accepted by Berncastel and Lambda Delta's red truth, and Beato no longer had any room to argue.
まるでエリカの書いた筋書きを
Yeah.
あの魔女どもがそうなるように曲解してるみてえじゃないか。
That's cheating.
そうですね。ゲームマスターのラムダデルタ教が納得したなら、その真実の真贋は問われない。最後に残った真実に基づかれ、続く世界が紡がれる。その最後の真実が本当の真実とどれほどかけ離れていようとも。
Okay. This might be the important stuff, actually. About how world is created.
おじさんは何者かに監禁されてるんだぞ。
Yeah, it's just claimed that he's like in the as a prisoner.
夏日おばさんを電話でうまく騙した可能性も否定できないが。
Battle recognizes as well.
バトラ君は夏日とクラウスを疑っていますか？
それは
エリカの真実は卑劣な構築ですが正当です。
It is. I can agree with that. I wonder what kind of like... What will Butler do? Can he like do anything actually?
魔女と結託しているとはいえ赤き真実で認められています。つまり嘘だけで構築した偽の真実では断じてありません。つまりエリカの真実でも筋が通るのです。夏日やクラウスが犯人という真実も全くありえなくはありません。
Yeah.
それが虚構であろうとも筋は通る。
Uh-huh.
真実と同じ価値を持った虚構なのです。その二つの真実のどちらを信じるか。
Also, we still like they confirmed. I mean, they reconstructing the first Twilight. What about the second one? I mean, we didn't like reconstructed the second Twilight because we went to the first one, but we still can deny Natsuki being culprit in the second Twilight if we go with the theory that Hideyoshi is actually alive and he just played that. And we would need red truth for that, that Hideyoshi was actually dead back then.
それはバトラ君自身が自ら決めることです。
いや、俺は夏日おばさんとクラウスおじさんを信じるぜ。
This is his weakness. I think this is the weakness that we're talking about, like Virgila and Beato, the sad Beato we're talking about. I mean, Virgila talked about this and Beato just reacted to this. This is the weakness that Butler has. He don't want to like suspect anyone from the family and stuff. This is his weakness. He don't have like real detective mind. He cannot like objectively look at the situation.
確かに金でトラブルがあるのは知ってる。だがそれでも俺はおばさんたちが犯人だと信じたくない。
Yeah, Butler like reasoning here is pretty much as mine, so I'm like Butler as well. Like I just don't want to believe that just the money problem is the way why everyone's dying. Also, we know there's something about Butler scene from 6 years ago that's make all of this. Also, we once again didn't get to know about Butler birth. Rudolph was about to tell him, and they suddenly decided to just jump to the end of the game.
いや、信じられない。
これだけ赤で着実に追い詰められたこの盤面上でどうやったら夏日を逃がせますか。
わからねえ。だが絶対に屈したくない。夏日おばさんは卑劣な罠にはめられただけだ。エリカの推理はまさにそれに踊らされたもの。だからエリカは意図してかせずしてか本当の犯人の片棒を担いでるんだ。
Erika is hiding the culprit. Yeah, that's like what I mentioned like before. Like I was wondering if like Erika can helping the culprit. So possibly like detective could be manipulated by the culprit. Like maybe she's not like, huh? I never thought about this actually. So maybe Erika helping the culprit but without her knowledge. So detective can work with the culprit, but only if detective don't know about it, I guess. I think that would be the rule for mystery.
エリカが夏日おばさんを犯人だと告発し、そしてこの場にいる誰もがそうだと信じても、ならばこそ俺だけは夏日おばさんを信じたい。
If everyone assumes it's true, does it become the truth? If everyone accepts a lie, does it become the truth? Must the solitary truth teller be dragged to the guillotine, to the jars of liars?
俺は嫌だぜ。
Yeah.
誰も夏日おばさんを信じないなら、むしろ俺が信じてやる。
I don't like it. Yeah, it's like it's kind of similar to what you guys are telling me, you know? Like when I present like some kind of like theory about like closed room or whatever, mostly like because we still didn't have like stream or anything, and I'm not really doing theories in the comment section because it requires like screens, like pictures and stuff, and I'm like mostly doing this on Discord now. But when I present like some kind of like theory and I ask, what do you think? Like, is it valid maybe or not? And I often get the answer of, do you like it? Are you satisfied with it? That's the most common answer I get. Sometimes I get like, but Red Truth said that and that. Because I forgot about this. But yeah, mostly it's like, are you satisfied with this outcome?
本当の真実は全員が納得したら決まるものじゃない。
Isn't Summit as determinated when everyone thinks something sounds reasonable?
徹底的に双方の可能性を検討して、その上で至るもんなんだ。だからこの法廷は嘘っぱちだ。
Okay.
この法廷は夏日おばさんを犯人だとでっち上げるためにしか存在しない。
ベアとは夏日を必死に弁護していますよ。
違う。 ベアトがしているのは抗弁。言い訳でしかない。この法廷では相手の主張に抗うだけじゃ戦えないんだ。だからかつての俺は一方的にベアトにやり込められていたんだ。
Because you didn't try to attack.
エリカに勝つのに必要なのは奴の推理の穴を探すことじゃない。奴とは異なる別の真実を見つけ出し、それをあのゲームの支配者ラムダデルタにエリカの真実より正しいと認めさせることなんだ。
One truth is more correct than the other one. Oh my god, Umineko, what are you doing? Please. Oh my god, I feel like this would be like another 8-hour stream after this.
ベルンカステル教の示した赤き真実に抵触せずに、夏日が犯人でない真実を紡ぎ出せますか？
わからない。だが俺が夏日おばさんが犯人だと信じない限り絶対に別の真実がある。
I mean, you didn't set Kraus, but okay, I guess you mean Kraus as well.
仮に事件の犯人は魔女ということになってもいい。
Whoa, okay, that's very bold of you.
正しくない真実によって夏日おばさんに濡れ衣を着せられるくらいなら。
Incorrect truth.
夏日が犯人であるとこれほどあなたは信じないのですね。
Huh.
ああ、物事ってのは常に信じるやつと信じないやつがいるべきなんだ。たとえいくら証拠が積み重ねられようとも誰かが潔白を信じなきゃならない。世の中には証拠じゃ示せない真実なんていくらでもあるはずなんだ。みんながそうだと言うからきっとそうなんだなんてことを俺は二度と受け入れたくない。
They don't want to accept that something is true just because everyone says it. Huh. How can you be sure that there's something on the far side of the moon if you've never seen it? Is there some reason that you have to believe it? Until you see the far side of the moon with your own eyes, you can't rule out the possibility that nothing is there. And neither can you rule out the possibility of the thriving culture of space bunnies. Huh. Butler once again comes back with his crazy ideas. Before we had small bombs, now we have space bunnies. We should never assume something something is this. Sorry. You should never assume something is the truth until you actually check it. This court is maliciously trying to force a single interpretation on a truth that can't be checked. I once believed there was a society on the far side of the moon, but that was elementary school, and I was made fun of and laughed at. So I thought it was embarrassing to think that a society lives on the moon, and I threw away that belief. I've been told by a book my mom read that the rabbits lived on the far side of the moon, and I believed that for a long time. But when everyone said that was wrong, I abandoned that truth without trying to check it. Even without evidence, I abandoned the truth I believed in. So, in this episode, does it mean that red truth is not necessarily the truth? What? Oh my god, what I'm going to do with this? Okay. I need to like create some kind of plan. How do I make notes out of episode 5? And how I apply them to the previous episodes? It's going to be like, oh my god. And now everyone is starting to believe that Anatsuki is the culprit. Even though not a single piece of decisive proof has been shown. There's no proof, but Erika words sounds reasonable. So they're probably the truth. That's your reason to abandon your belief that Anatsuki is innocent?
誰も信じないなら俺が信じる。本当の真実は 否定と肯定の2つの目で同時に見た時にしか浮かび上がらないと俺は信じる。
This is actually something that Enja said. Or rather what Enja had in her like tip menu. That you have to believe in witches and understand them to deny them. It's pretty much the same.
奴らが夏日おばさんが犯人だといくら信じさせようとも俺は犯人じゃないと信じる。それを捨てない。
But how do you do that? How do you deny and affirming this thing on the at the same time?
わかりました。
I don't understand.
ではあなたに私から一つだけ。
Oh shit, okay. Give us a weapon.
私が真の意味で戦う意志を持ったあなたに送るたった一つの力です。
Okay.
力。
有限の魔女ワルギリアの名に
Okay.
おいて。いえ、先代の魔女ベアトリーチェとしてあなたに赤き真実を。
That's going to be something big. How can you tell?
夏日は犯人ではない。
That's fucking huge. This is the red truth. That clearly just clear all the suspicions from Natsuhi. That leaves Kraus though. That leaves Kraus for now. Okay, this is huge. Anyone in the court heard that?
司法取引。クラウスが犯人だと認めたなら、エリカは夏日に対する追及を中断。以後は所在不明のクラウスが犯人ということで追及を。
どうするベアト。このままじゃ夏日やばいわよ。司法取引を受ける？後宮家の名誉とやらを放棄するなら今回はドローにしてあげようっていうベルンの甘い配慮よ。
So they didn't hear that. That was only for Butler. So what he's going to do? I mean, he cannot speak yet. Kraus was currently missing and was unknown whenever he was alive or dead. Like Kinzo, he was no different than a cat in the box that had disappeared into the mists of the island. The cat in the box is a creature of infinite variation. No interpretation of it can be denied. Also, we didn't... Actually, they're missing one person. The whole situation that's like they're talking about now, I didn't like realize that, but they're still missing Kinzo. Right? We still have the theory that Kinzo is just somewhere on the island, so he's like free to move, just like Kraus is. Even more than Kraus, he's like totally free to move. So we can blame actually not Kraus but Kinzo. We know by Red Truth, like as a reader, that Kinzo is dead. But for investigation's sake, we can say it very safely that Kinzo might be a culprit. I didn't thought about this actually. I was so focused on like Natsuhi, Kraus, and people who were actually here and like on the island, on like in the mansion. No one ever spoke about Kinzo in any of the red or blue truths.